Hi everybody, it's Sandy from Urban Rebel Designs in Aztec, New Mexico, and I'm here on the Dixie Belle paint page tonight. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to make t-shirts. Dixie Belle paint is absolutely fabulous to use on fabric, so making t-shirts is a breeze when you know a few of the tricks. When you hop on, say hello, let me know where you're from. Also, like this video, comment and share, and let us know that you shared it. And after the video is over, Dixie Belle will pick a winner for some free paint. Everybody loves free paint. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to do two different techniques on t-shirts. And the first one is we're going to create our own screen print. I know if I hold this up this way, it's backwards, so I'm going to hold it up this way. And you can see that I've created my own screen print using just a regular embroidery hoop. And the fabric is window shears, like you can get it at the dollar store. What I did, I have a vinyl cutter, so if you have a Cricut or Silhouette or one of the other vinyl cutters, you can do this, or if you have a friend that has one, you can do it. So I just cut my design on here, and I put my window shears in my embroidery hoop. I like to leave enough of an edge so if it starts to creep on me, I can pull it tight, because you want it to be really tight. So I like to leave some around the edges. If you've ever worked with an embroidery hoop, you know sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain. After I got my design laid on, and I use a hotel room key for a squeegee to get it down really flat, make sure that there are no wrinkles and no bubbles in it. And then I'm going to take some blue painter's tape, and I went all around the design because we do not want our paint to creep out. So, hi Billy, I'm just going to show you on this last little piece how I did that. So I've got the piece here, but you see I've still got an edge here. I'm just going to take a piece of this painter's tape, and I'm creating a ledge so that our paint doesn't creep out. And you don't have to be perfect with this. But here we have created our very own screen print. So I'm going to do several t-shirts with this design. This makes it easy. All I have to do, I'm going to stand up for just a second, forgive me. All I have to do is make sure that I have it centered and laid down properly. And then I'm going to get a little bit, I'm using Honky Tonk Red, one of my favorite reds tonight. So I'm just going to get a little bit out, and I'm plopping it down on my design. And then I'm going to take my squeegee. You can use all sorts of different things. This is just a plastic scraper. I like to use this because it has a bit of a sharper edge. And we're just going to move the paint around. And when I pick this up, it's going to be beautiful and perfect. And if I wanted to do the rest of the shirts that I have to do tonight, then I would just simply pick this up, move it over to the next shirt, and go again. So now we're just going to lift this. Actually, I see a little bit of paint here. Make sure that you have all of your paint moved where you need it. And I'm just going to lift this straight up. And we have a perfect print. So you can see that. I love using Dixie Belle paint to make t-shirts. I also love using stencils to make t-shirts. So I wanted to show you that. If you don't want to make your own screen prints, then you can get just any regular stencil. And I have one here. This one is going to be a two-part stencil. So this is I don't know if you can see it real well. It's just a little vintage car. And when I do stencils on t-shirts, I like to take the edges down just to make sure that I don't go over when I'm putting the paint on. And I already have my tape pulled off. So I'm going to put it here, and we're just taping this down flat. This stencil is really hard to see, but you'll see it better once I start adding the paint to it. And when I'm going to use a stencil and I have an area, an open area as large as this car is, I like to go ahead and, pardon my water bottle, you can tell it's used every day. I like to just mist my shirt, and then I'm going to take a sponge and wipe up some of the water, but don't worry, I'm going to be using this sponge. So on this shirt, we're using my very favorite color, the Gulf, and see that gorgeous color? This is the color of just about everything in my store. So I'm just going to get a paper plate, and I'm going to put, that's probably too much paint, but just a little bit of paint out on the plate. And I'm going back to my sea sponge, and I'm going to mist it just a little bit and squeeze it out. And all you're going to do is you're going to pick up a little bit of the paint, and you're going to dab it off because you don't want too much when you go to the shirt. And we're just going to start sponging it. And now you can see one reason that I wanted to take my stencil down is so it wouldn't move on me. I've made that mistake. Learn from my mistake. So we're just going to keep adding paint till we have it covered. Do we have a question?
Dan Bouchard wants to know if you heat sealed them.
I will. I have a heat press, so I will run them through a heat press when I'm finished. You don't have to. That's one of the beauties of Dixie Belle paint. You can just let it air dry, and it's permanent. And another great thing about this is you're going to think, oh, I'm painting a shirt. It's going to be stiff. Once you run it through the washer and the dryer, it comes out buttery soft. I'm going to finish the little car, and then we're going to move on to the second step because this one's going to be a two-color. I'm doing it for a dear friend of mine who requested a shirt. I need to respray my sponge. Who requested a special shirt, so I'm doing this for her. If I'm missing anybody or missing questions, I apologize, and my husband is here helping me. He's over there waving his arms. Yes?
We had a question from Kimbra. Is your stencil sticky on back?
No, it's not. You can use any stencil. I've actually used some less expensive cardboard stencils to do this. When you use the cardboard stencils, you do want to wipe them off as soon as you're finished, unlike these that I can lay over, and if they dry just a little bit, it's okay because I can clean them up really easily. I'm going to peel this off now, and we're going to go to the second part. Yes, sir.
You had a couple of other questions. Do you put anything between the layers of the shirt?
You can put cardboard, or if you have some plastic, you can. I try not to do it so heavy that it's going to go all the way through. You picked up my second piece. Thank you. Sorry about that. I have helpers here. So this is my second piece, and I'm just going to lay it on the top. And it's okay that this is still wet. I'm going to take this down. And make sure that I've got it straight. I need to straighten it up just a bit. Okay, now I'm gonna finish taping it down, and I'm just making sure that I don't overpaint on the stencil. And this time we're gonna use red so you can see the lettering on it. So I'm gonna use some of the red that I had left on my card, and I'm just going over this really quick. So like I said, if you have a heat press or if you want to use your iron, as soon as you're finished, you can go over that. I'm honestly not really sure that it helps set the paint any, because the paint's so great that if you've used it before, you know that it will adhere to anything. But I like to do it as a safety precaution, because a lot of times I have a client that's going to pick the shirt up that day, and I want to make sure that it's dry. Okay, so now we have our little car done, and we have our lettering done. And that's what we've got. It still needs to dry, so it's going to look a little splotchy for now, but that's fine. Don't forget to like this video, comment, and share. And you can use this technique on just about any fabric. I've even used it on leather. So let's see if we have any other questions.
Do you heat set with an iron? If so, what setting? And another question was, how long do you let it set before you wash?
You can wash it as soon as it's dry. I would probably let it go overnight at least. And if you want to heat, you don't have to heat set it. But if you want to use an iron to heat set it, use whatever setting is best for the material, the fabric that you're working with. If I'm working with vinyl, then I'm going to use the cotton setting. But if you have a fabric that has some nylon in it or anything like that, you run the risk of melting your fabric. So read the directions on the fabric that you're using and use that setting. And like I said, you can let this air dry and it's just fine. You've never used Dixie Belle on fabric? Oh my goodness, girl, you need to try it, because it is awesome. We get in here and we have t-shirt parties at times. I've even used it to repaint the leather on some chairs that came in, and they were black and they were that 70s look, and I wanted them updated, so I painted those. It holds up fabulous. I'm not going to seal this with anything. You don't need to. Yes, sir.
Another question, do you need to turn the shirts inside out to wash and dry?
You do not need to. And it's going to be a little stiff before you wash it. Don't worry about that. As soon as you wash it, it softens up. It's almost a cottony feel. It's that soft. I love doing shirts. I love the look on people's faces when they say, "Ooh, I like your shirt," and you say, "Thank you, I painted it." And this is just one more fabulous way that you can use Dixie Belle products. So I just want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Dixie Belle will be picking a winner as soon as this video is over, so stay tuned for the winner. If you have any questions, post them here. We'll try to get them all answered tonight. And thanks for joining me. Bye.